Is Gen Z emotionally ready for life in the workplace? A survey by Morning Consult and Mary Christie Institute finding that more than half of young professionals ages 22 to 28 reported needing help for emotional or mental health struggles last year. More than 40% screening positive for anxiety, more than 30% positive for depression. Did colleges prepare students enough to enter the workforce? The job doctor, Tessa White, is here to weigh in. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here. It's always good to have a chat with you. You are the author of The Unspoken Truths for Career Success, and the host of The Job Doctor is in. I would think even if you're not in your 20s, last year was really hard. The past few years have been really hard. What's different particularly about college students?
Well, you really have to understand what's happening with the different generations. If you go back far enough, the boomers were very long-term thinking, trying to prepare for retirement. You fast forward and all of a sudden we care about maybe having a home. Go to millennials and it's more urban comfort. Now with the Gen Z, they're lucky to have $200 in their pocket. And what it's done is it's created very short-term thinking. And short-term thinking is not necessarily conducive to relationships or building great workplace experiences. And they're really, really struggling. The struggle is real for them.
I think that we are in a time and a place where relationships mean more than ever. And yet there seems to be this great chasm, or chasm, I think is the way you pronounce that, but a big divide between people's wants and what they're actually able to have the bandwidth for. According to 40% of respondents in this study that we referenced here, those say that college did not prepare them emotionally to enter the workplace. Is this simply an EQ skills gap, or do young people have unrealistic expectations?
I think it's a little bit of both. Colleges are trying so hard to keep up with this, with mental health counselors and having support for students, but that's the tail end of the problem. The real root cause, as I see in my practice, is they are not equipped to be able to deal with conflict. It's just fascinating to me that this generation would leave a company before they would bring up a difficulty or a problem. And when there is conflict, which is inherent in the workforce, they don't quite know how to deal with it. And you lay on top of that the fact that they do see so many options. It used to be one path, and now there are so many options. They would just as soon leave. And what I'm afraid of is that they're going to chase this idealistic view of what the world should or could be and never quite find the joy that they're looking for. And until we can teach them to deal with that conflict and work through it, I think it's going to be problematic.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that for a lot of people right now, young professionals, they're entering an internship for the first time or entering a job for the first time just in the past year with real people. Everything was done virtually. Every internship was done virtually. Their classes were virtual. So how can we better prepare them for in real life, in-person connection?
Well, you touched on something that's so important. They're doing swipe right or swipe left for just about everything, and they're on a screen instead of dealing with real human beings. I think companies and colleges really need to provide mentors early on to help them work through, and safe mentors, so that it doesn't feel so punitive when they hit up against a conflict. That's where the problem is, and that's when they leave. And if they had a safe space, and there are some companies doing this, I think that that helps them kind of work through and ease them into what relationships and work, in particular work conflict, needs in order to get through it.
Yeah, rather than assume that they know it all, which we all have been there, no matter what generation you're from, realizing that you need to be around people who have strengths that you don't have. To develop as somebody who's emotionally mature, you need to be around emotionally mature people and have a tour guide to that success that we're all looking for. Tessa, always love speaking with you. Thank you. Until next time. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.